Starting a year ago next week at Pro Wrestling Memories on Facebook, we started looking at the chronological history of WrestleMania matches, starting with this first one, Tito Santana versus the Executioner. We have been doing it now for almost a year and are almost to the end of WrestleMania 4. However, I'm now going to put them up on social media, warning this is my opinion. I'm going to review the matches, give you my rating on them, all the way up until we reach the current WrestleMania, whatever that is at the time. Starting today, and I'll post a couple of weeks so we catch up, we are doing the chronological WrestleMania match history. Over 400 WrestleMania matches have occurred, and we're getting closer to 500 by the time we complete this journey. The very first match at WrestleMania was on March 31st, 1985. Tito Santana faced off against the Masked Executioner. We're going to discuss this match, and feel free in the comments to give me your thoughts and also any segments that are covered between the start of the show, the end of the last week's match, and the end of this week's match. Of course, this is the first one, so this will be the start of the show. Tito Santana versus the Masked Executioner. On a side note, just think we will see the greats: Hogan, Andre, Macho, HBK, Bret Hart, Rock, Triple H, Cena, Ray, Eddie, Roman. We will also see Snooki, SD Jones, Mr. Jackass himself, and way past his prime, Mr. Fuji. This journey should be fun. The entire streak: Ric Flair in his 30s, his 40s, and his 50s, Rock working at 26 and 52, brother versus brother, father versus son, and a McMahon in every corner. WrestleMania 1 seems like nothing more than an afternoon airing of the monthly MSG show, which is, as it is, with some celebrities mixed in. However, back on March 31st, 1985, it was a big deal. The opening of the show was unique, and depending on which version you watch, the music is different. Like myself and my wife, we will be watching the 1997 VHS releases of the first 12 WrestleManias, so the original pop music and pop entrances are there. If you're watching on Peacock or some streaming device on your internet, you may have a generic soundtrack to listen to. Now on to the show. Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura are the hosts, and most of us of a certain age knew this duo as the soundtrack of our youth. However, at WrestleMania, this is actually one of the first times they are together. Ventura calls Monsoon Gino, which by all knowledge is not a name he's known by. His real name was Robert, and his gimmick was Gorilla, so who knows why. Howard Finkel then introduced Mean Gene Okerlund to sing the national anthem. Gene actually has a great voice. Ventura compares him to Robert Goulet, who will appear at WrestleMania 6. Next, on to Lord Alfred Hayes, who is positioned at the entrance area to tell us Gene Okerlund had pre-recorded interviews with both participants in our first ever WrestleMania match. Tito Santana puts over the fact that nothing is known about the Executioner, but he is undefeated. Santana add that this is the big leagues, brother. Then we hear from said Executioner. What's interesting is that Santana walks off the screen to one side, the Executioner walks onto the other. If you're keeping it kayfabe at the time, they were actually in the same room together at the same time, and that'll happen for all the participants in this WrestleMania. Santana leaves, the Executioner comes in, and he says that he is a big leaguer, and he is going to go after that leg that Greg Valentine injured. The match itself is standard 1985 squash match. By the way, the Executioner himself, if you're wondering, was played by Playboy Buddy Rose. He is perhaps best known in Portland and the AWA as a narcissistic bully who claimed to be thinner than he really was, and at one point was managed by future WWE Hall of Famer Sherry Martel. Ventura and Monsoon get over Santana's quest to regain the Intercontinental title. Rose does work the leg a bit, while Santana does not, which comes into play at the finish. Santana wins the match by use of the figure 4. Santana must be so good at it that it takes no wearing down of the legs to get a submission. A couple notes. This is Buddy Rose's only WrestleMania match ever. In fact, it's also the last match of this run in the WWF, and he would not return until 1990. Santana gets the first win in WWF WrestleMania history, his only, but he will appear in the first 8 WrestleManias and actually work a dark match at 9. Rose is on the unfortunate list of WrestleMania wrestlers who have passed away. The match lasted 4 minutes and 49 seconds, which is the 7th longest match of the night. I give the match 2 out of 5 stars. It wasn't awful. It served its purpose, and to get Santana over as a top challenger for Valentine's title. But let the public new to the WWF that Santana's figure 4 was an inescapable hold. One has to wonder why they went to such lengths to get Santana over by such means that he didn't have to work on the executioner's leg and was able to just slap on the figure 4 and get an immediate submission win. Whereas there's no storytelling, no story match progression in progress to get that over. And that's why I think I give the match so low of a rating. Plus, compared to future WrestleMania matches, and you really shouldn't at this point because it's the only match that you can look at, it really is a dud. But let's take a look at the statistics. Tito Santana, his real name Merced Solis, at the time of this match was just 31 years old. He is still alive today. He was born on May 10th, 1953. His opponent, the Executioner, as we said, Playboy Buddy Rose, at the time of this match was 32 years old, and he would live for another 24 years, passing away in April of 2009. What are your thoughts on this match? Share your opinions and let me know down in the comments.